Hi, I'm Tim from Tower Systems. I'm one of the account managers here. I've got Christina with me today. Christina is part of our web development team. And we thought we'd just do a bit of a run through on our web development service. So I guess, look, to kick things off, Christina, what's one of the biggest kind of barriers you face with building some of these sites for our customers?
Yeah, that's a great question, Tim. So in terms of websites, I think it kind of boils down to having a plan from the get-go. So I find a lot of people perhaps get bogged down with the details and not having a clear plan from the start. So I
Yeah.
think in the long run, going through setting up products in retailer is quite simple. But getting that and translating it to the website can be a bit challenging. So it kind of boils down to the keep it simple method. That's
And,
my main tip there.
and you know what, you're right. Like a lot of people kind of come to us, obviously looking after that sales process in the beginning, a lot of people come to us saying, look, we just want a website. Like, they don't really come to us with much of a plan of what they want on the website, what they want to sell or how they want it to work. So I think that's a valid point. Like if people have a clear picture of what they want, I think that really helps. Yeah. So look, I guess I'll start when we, if a customer comes to us and they are looking at having us build a website, we kick things off just by having a chat with either Justin or myself. We'll have a chat with the customer and evaluate some of those needs and see where you want to go. From there, if someone wants to go ahead with a website, that's when Christina would become involved and build that website for you. As part of the process, we'll also engage you with our help desk team and our trainers to do a bit of a session to run through some of the tips and tools of what you can do within retailer itself to help prepare that data for going online. And look, I guess I'll just jump in and I'll share my screen and I'll show you some of that stuff in retailer. It's really, really quite easy to manage that stock on your website. So I've got, you can see my screen there, Christina, with the main dashboard of retailer.
Yeah, it's looking great. Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's put a lot of time into designing that one. So if you want to sell stock online, it's really simple. Firstly, you've got a little notifications tab at the top here. If an online order comes through, so if someone buys something on your website, you get a little notification there to show that an online order exists. As far as making stock active to sell it online, it's really simple. I can jump into my stock screen here, and I've got my stock screen. I've got a Captain America pop vinyl here, just as a bit of an example. I've got its description, the department it's in, the category. I've got its sell price. You can have a separate web store price as well. I can see my quantity on hand at the top there. I can load unlimited images against products. So while I've only got one against this particular item, I could have 2, 5, 10 images loaded against that if I wanted to. There's also a facility, if I right click, I can bulk load images. So if you're able to get a image bank, a bulk of images from your supplier, you can load that in against those products en masse. So you don't have to go through and do it one by one. Across the top here, you've also got extra details. So you can put any additional information against this product in there. And I guess the final part of that, if I wanted to sell this online, I've got my web store price there. All I need to do is tick that web store item box, and then retailer will push all of that information across for you. There's a heap of tools in the background in retailer. And again, this is what we go through with you in that training. We'll have a look at your data. We'll give you some advice and guidance on how to get that ready for that process of going online. But there's a really cool facility in the background of retailer called the Stock Manager. And I'm guessing while you're talking to people about building their website, Christina, they're kind of busy getting some of this data ready in the background so that when your part's done, they've at least got a little bit of data there that's ready to display on the website.
Exactly. So that's what we like to see at the start. Lots of products coming through, a lot of variety, so we can test out things down the development process.
Yeah. And so, yeah, just back into this Stock Manager, this is, if our existing customers haven't used this already, I'd encourage you to look at it. For anyone that's looking at putting retailer in, we've got a separate video on how this works, but just as a quick snapshot, this is a brilliant tool, and especially for those customers that have come across from a different system, because in some of those instances, we might see data that's not quite perfect. Descriptions might be you know, a little jumbled and things like that. So this is a really good tool for cleaning some of that up. So I can do things like, I can come in here and I can go search. I want everything with the words pop vinyl in the description. If I've got to spell that right, and search, and that'll grab everything out of my product list with those words in it. And so you can actually customize what columns are visible here. So I've got mine turned on so I can see the web price and whether I've got an image against it and whether I've got that extra website description. So straight away, I can see these products here with the you know, ticks against them and the price in the web store price. They're pretty much ready to go. But all of these other ones are the ones I need to go back and get that data ready for the website if I want to sell those online. And from within this screen, you can also do bulk edits. So I could do a bulk change to change, you know, the word pushing. Maybe I wanted to change that to be all caps, or maybe I wanted to change pop vinyl to be, you know, correct case. You can do all of that sort of stuff en masse through this screen. It's very flexible. But look, I won't talk. You know, I won't totally control this session. What I might do, Christina, is pass across to you if you want to have a bit of a chat about, you know, what happens after someone's placed an order with us and then it hits your desk. What happens from there?
Yeah, definitely. So as a part of that process, you, I guess, would have received a checklist of sorts. That's kind of like the hub or go-to of things to mark off, basically the items that we require to build your website. So with that in mind, it covers a few things like store info, you know, such as about us pages, email and domains, looking to confirm other info like shipping and payment as well. And I think second to that is probably the imagery and content for design. So that's obviously an important thing to make your website nice and enticing for customers. So we'd like to see, you know, feature images for departments, homepages and about us, for example. But most importantly is probably the logo and branding. So we can kind of get more or less your business online, whether that be, you know, a brick and mortar store or a new online only approach to e-commerce. So essentially, once we get those things checked off, then we can get the development process underway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? Oh, sorry to interrupt. I think you touched on something really important there. Like those images, I've got some example websites that I'll go through in a little bit. No doubt you do as well. But I actually think the thing that makes a really big difference with a website, you know, looking like being really good at the end or maybe not so great, is ultimately it comes down to those images customers give us.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But sorry, I interrupted you.
That's all good. No, we'll probably have a bit of back and forth, I reckon, because there's so much overlap between, you know, getting a business online, getting an e-commerce site up and running. So that's all good. But yeah, so essentially the goal is to translate your business online. That's what I just wanted to touch on. Yeah, like I mentioned, whether you're a brick and mortar store or, you know, looking to expand, offer something a bit different and, you know, test the online waters, really the world is your oyster. So you can go crazy, you can keep it simple, of course, but you can challenge yourself and have different product ranges online there. So with that in mind, we'll head back to, I guess, the retailer side of things.
Yeah.
And essentially, before we get started and I guess have that initial call and the consult process, we'll basically have a web store focused training for retailer. So essentially what Tim's covered there, but a bit more detail, perhaps getting some variants and most importantly, options sorted online for products, because, you know, having that choice in terms of color, size, can basically be one step or upgrade away for your product. So it's always great to get that set up in retailer there.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a really good point. Like, so when it comes to building that website, if it is a business, you know, certainly some of our legacy customers, it might be a bike shop that's had us for 10 years. They might have shoes, gloves, and clothing in their system, but they may not necessarily have those variants set up in retailer.
exactly.
And so,
yep.
Yeah, you're right. Like that can be a big part of that initial setup is linking those variants. So when they do hit the website, it has that really, you know, clear layout.
And it's one of those things you might not think about it in the early stages of website development or getting your products online. But essentially, it's very important because if you think about the customer or the customer journey, how do you shop when you have a product in store? What about online as well? So having those options is very important. And so essentially, we've got Roy who will take you through, I guess, the necessary steps to get your web store connected to Shopify. So yeah, as we touched on earlier, there's a few processes and tools to get that all spick and span. And from there, I guess we've got Tower Web Connect or TWC, which is the link established to connect to your retailer data and get that flowing onto Shopify.
Yeah, and is that a difficult thing for people to set up? Or, are they setting it up themselves, or are we holding their hand through that process? What's the the best way to manage that?
So in terms of new web orders, we like to help you out and get you in the right direction, of course. But essentially, anyone can do this. We've got handy knowledge-based advice sheets running through the steps. It's very easy and straightforward, of course. But it's very important because essentially this sync determines how your data flows across. And what we can do is also optimize it. So it allows us or the developers to optimize your products online and kind of bring them to life to make it, exciting for customers.
Yeah, fantastic. Speaking of those, websites that we've done for customers, Christine, are there any, do you have any examples of sites that you want to go through today, or any, sort of success stories that you'd like to show us, or anything?
Well, I thought we might maybe tackle that very soon, or perhaps in a short while. Maybe what I can do is run through, the Shopify backend just to give you a quick breakdown before we showcase some sites. What do you think?
Yeah, brilliant. Sounds great. Let's run through that.
Okay, excellent. So what I just quickly wanted to do, I'll bring that up now. Won't take too long. Let's see.
Oh, yeah, I can see your screen there.
Yep, perfect. So just to recap what was touched on earlier in terms of the checklist being our hub here, just quickly wanted to show you what we can, I guess, confirm in the development process. So obviously we've got store info, feature photos. And so essentially this is your go-to place to check off these items, make sure we have everything ready to go and get started with web development.
Yeah, brilliant. Really organized.
Yep. So as we touched on, we've got a bit of web store training. And with Roy, for example, he'll go through and assist you in setting up retailer products marketing for web store. So obviously it's up to you what products you load, but understanding how retailer works and comes together and flows onto Shopify is most important. So that's why we have that in place. And to show you how, I guess, retailer speaks to Shopify, we'll just quickly show you TWC, or what we like to call Tower Web Connect. So once your web store is up and running, again, this is something you can set up easily yourself. You'll see Shopify is loaded here. There's a number of options available to you, but of course, we'll optimize that through the development process. And I think what is most important is understanding preferences. So this is something you can jump into yourself at any point in time, but obviously we'll guide you through our recommendations through, what your product requirements are. Let's say you've got lots of low quantity stock. The great thing that you can do is simply hit unpublish here. And if, let's say you need a little bit of a buffer, you could set it to out of stock quantity 2. So things like this and other fantastic features of TWC essentially, optimize your products for the online environment.
So that out of stock quantity, Christina, so if they still have 2 in stock in store, it would say it's out of stock on their website, so that way if someone's walking around with it in store, they're not going to accidentally sell that one online. Is that the purpose of that?
Yep. So if we put quantity 2 here, we can essentially tell the website, make that product appear out of stock for that purpose. So you have that bit of a buffer there.
Fantastic. That's really clever.
Excellent. So actually one thing I'll quickly highlight here, use catalog pricing. So this is a great feature that you can utilize, especially if you have discounts in retailer as well. What I'd like to see is, sale items coming across to the website. So simply activating this and having stock item catalog pricing, that will get sent through to Shopify and basically highlight and promote any sale items that you might have.
Excellent.
Yep. Alrighty then. So just to recap a bit of the data side of things before we get stuck into, I guess, what you can achieve through Shopify. I'll just quickly run through a little advice sheet that we've got here. Obviously, there's handy links onto how to set up your web store. But as we see here, and as Tim mentioned earlier, you can see the product data that flows on through. So descriptions, we've got web descriptions, obviously web prices as well. Most importantly, I would say probably variants and product images to make the product stand out.
And all of this advice and all of this information, that's just available through our website?
Exactly. So we've got the knowledge database there, or knowledge base.
Yep.
Advice sheets, basically your go-to place for anything that we provide to you in terms of retailer and how it speaks to Shopify. And of course, not just web store aspects as well, all your stock manager and all your handy tips regarding that are found here.
Excellent. Look, I guess one thing I'll add to that is, I think Christina said a lot of our customers do simply do this themselves. So it is really easy to just jump on our website, get those steps on how to link retailer with Shopify. Shopify is a really straightforward, easy to use platform. That said, if a customer is not confident with doing it themselves, we do offer a consulting service where we will assist with bridging retailer with their website. Or the other option is, as we're talking about today, we can build that complete package as well. So if someone wants a whole new website from us, we can take care of that and we'll look after that integration process at the same time.
Exactly, yep. So just quickly as well, I just want to highlight, I guess, product setup recommendations and understanding navigation. So just going back to, the challenges of getting a website up and running, retailers have products in stock, or maybe they're trying to figure out what to bring online.
Yeah.
So essentially, it's very straightforward. Just think of it how you would view a website. So long as your product ranges are easily grouped and I guess products are clearly categorized, you can simply mark those products for web store and they'll flow through across in an easy to digest, navigation format. So essentially what you can do is group departments, have categories which will come through to Shopify. You can see there's some things to avoid. So basically, the less you do in retailer, the more work you need to manage the products in Shopify. So to keep it simple, treat departments as collections and categories as tags.
Yep, makes sense.
And just quickly here, we've got the beauty of Shopify. So essentially, you can extend your product ranges. And like I touched on earlier, having maybe sale ranges or new arrivals, it's very easy to integrate into your navigation and feature collections.
So that way, if someone does add new products into retailer, even if they're in a particular collection, they can show up as being a new item.
Exactly. Yes.
On the website. Yeah, easy.
Okay, perfect. So what we should probably quickly do is run through perhaps the Shopify backend.
Yeah.
Now I've just landed on this page here, so you might be wondering, okay, it's not that helpful at this point in time. So it is a demo website, but essentially here's the, I guess, admin or the backend to your website where you can access lots of features, recommendations, and business management tools.
Do many of our customers have an understanding of this page before they go through that process of having us build a website for them, or are you training them on this, or how do they become familiar with this part of it?
Exactly. So with that in mind, we, I guess, develop the website to your needs. And from there, we want to train you and get you ready for the world of e-commerce and Shopify in particular.
Yeah.
So what we do is we have a 90-minute training session. It'll cover through order processing, theme customization, which is the look and feel of your website, and obviously business settings and recommendations. So one thing you can also do is introduce apps, or I guess what you could call website plugins. Essentially, you can extend the website functionality by integrating plugins. Yeah.
Yeah, and many customers requiring extra plugins. Is it a common thing to go through, either in the beginning or after the fact?
Well, it just depends, of course. So in terms of business needs, let's say you work with maybe tens of thousands of products, categorizing them, let's say, for shipping purposes, you might find really handy tools such as an automate profile, which will basically, well, not to get too technical, but essentially, make it really easy for you to group products. Let's say you have different shipping requirements. So you can definitely find plugins to elevate and automate. And the same, I guess, on the note of automation, you can have marketing tools as well. So you can automate tools as well that could be Shopify provided. There's third-party plugins. There's so many things I'd offer. Basically, if you have if you have an idea, you can probably find it.
and it's fair to say Shopify is easy enough to use that most customers can, you know, we want to sort of empower them to be able to do that sort of stuff themselves after the fact, in terms of, you know, navigating through some of those more higher level, you know, facilities.
Exactly, yes. So what I can probably show you is actually how the App Store comes to be. So we've got sales channels. What you can do is you hit customize your store. It'll basically take you to the, you know, the App Store overview. And what you can do is see recommended apps for your business type, or simply a feature that you're looking to achieve. So while our goal is to achieve, I guess, your product requirements through customizations, let's say you want certain pages to appear with handy info, we can help you achieve that through code. But what you can also do is extend it through, let's say, Shopify email, perhaps the shop app as well. There's so many things that you can introduce. So let's say we look for wish lists. Quickly pop that in, hit enter, that will be helpful.
Yeah.
And you can review what's popular, what's relevant to you. Let me have a look at this one. So Wishlist Hero. It's got some great reviews, a handy video in terms of the overview there. Anything that's paid, you can trial it out. So there's no obligation to continue with the service. So, you know, you can have fun, explore, and go through different options there.
Well, you know, I guess just, you know, over the years we've done hundreds of websites for customers, and just, you know, thinking through some of them, there's been things like subscription, rental and hire. You know, people have wanted all sorts of kind of, you know, different little extras. So yeah, Shopify is a really flexible platform for that.
Exactly. Yep. So what I thought we'll do is actually run through the back end a little bit, just to give a quick overview, and perhaps touch on a few interesting highlight points. So let's quickly go through some items here.
Sure.
Okay, so we've got the homepage over here. As you can see, yeah, it's a test website, so not too much helpful info, but essentially what you'll have in the top section here is your current sessions, the number of sales for that day, and on the right-hand side, that's reflected as well. If we scroll down the page, we can have a few more tips and tricks, usually provided by Shopify. So here's an example, find some photos for marketing campaigns. Essentially, anything that's helpful will appear here on a daily basis. Keep it nice and fresh. You might forget something, and this is where Shopify will inform you here.
Yeah.
Okay, so orders, this is what we like to see, of course, on an e-commerce platform. So essentially, the idea is you'll jump in here after receiving a notification through your web store. You'll get an email through Shopify saying, hey, there's a new order to process. And if we jump into that here, you can see there's a nice overview of products ordered, any information that's based or that has been already processed. On the right-hand side, there's very helpful information regarding customers, especially for conversion as well. So you want to see how often, you know, customers are coming back to order. we've got some handy, I guess, fraud analysis features here. So a fantastic thing that I guess Shopify provides is an 11-point system to cross-reference everything. There's a little warning indicator to see how well the order's been placed. So rest assured, if it's a good rating, you're good to go in terms of processing the order. You don't want to be stuck with, fraudulent orders coming through. So this is a great, service that Shopify provides.
Yeah, excellent. And that's standard. That's just part of the basic package.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So we've got that as a nice handy feature. Obviously, with the web ordering process, once you've processed and fulfilled the order, it's as simple as informing the customers. So you hit fulfill orders. If you've got, let's say, a shipping label requirements, you can simply hit create shipping label here. It obviously depends on your needs, of course. But essentially, you can hit fulfill, you're good to go, inform the customer, and you're well underway.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, there's many tools and features that you can use to enhance the ordering process. But essentially, Shopify provides that, all-in-one service to get that the process nice and easy.
And those sales simply flow back into retailer, come off of stock, and everything's updated as soon as that sales process.
Exactly. Yep. So especially with TWC or our latest link, everything flows back nicely. The only time you need to jump into retail, I believe, is if there's refunds, and that's simply because the web order and the payment has processed through Shopify. So it's otherwise very, straightforward.
Excellent.
Alrighty then. So one handy, I guess, feature of the ordering process is abandoned checkouts. So you might be asking, Tim, what is an abandoned checkout?
Yeah, tell me more.
So Shopify has this feature where essentially anyone who leaves details, there maybe some products in the cart, essentially Shopify looks for those products and customer information that they might have left and say, hey, here's a cart link, and we can send this information back to the customer who hasn't yet placed an order. So essentially you can go through and capture perhaps what we like to call abandoned checkouts, of course, but you can capture customers who haven't actually successfully placed an order. And it's a great way to, retain and not lose any, sales. So
yeah, that's really cool. So
fantastic.
So if I was a bike shop, I could jump in here every so often and see those abandoned carts, for example, and copy those links, maybe even send that customer an email to say, hey, look, if you are serious about this product, here's a voucher code.
Exactly. Well, you can copy the links, but one thing I didn't actually highlight is that it's all automated. If you basically set it to active, you don't need to do anything. You can sit and forget.
Yeah. Even better.
Even better. So it's a fantastic feature that Shopify provides here. So let's go back. Okay, so we've got orders, quite straightforward. It's basically a hub on processing orders there. Next, we have products. So essentially, in retailer, if you've got it all sorted, you don't need to manage any products here. And in fact, you shouldn't.
Yep.
So with that in mind, it's just, a great way to see how websites handling the products essentially. The main feature or main aspect that you'll be touching on are collections. So collections are essentially your department sync through as a Shopify collection here.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to extend the SEO purposes and provide helpful information. As we touched on earlier, there's product descriptions and also feature photos that you can introduce. So here's a very bad example of a description. You want something that's very informative and helpful to explain to customers what obviously that collection involves. But as you can see on the right-hand side, we've got a feature image, which is fantastic. You can see how all the products are coming together here.
With those feature images, would you recommend customers source them themselves rather than using, ones they find on the internet or, supplier provided ones? What's your gut feel on those images?
So we'd always love to see custom photos that you provide yourself. Basically, give some character and a story to what you're selling. Anyone can get supply images. So the fact that you have something that is a point of difference is fantastic. It shows that connection that you have to the products as well. So always, supply your own photos where you can.
Yep.
Professional photography, even better. So see how you go with that one too.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that, use your own, but professional photography. I had a customer and their website came up amazing, and I was speaking to them about it, and they said they had someone in store, someone come through that was a professional photographer, so they were able to work out a bit of a deal with them to get some really nice photos while they were shopping in store. So yeah, most of our customers have a decent supply of customers coming through the door. So hopefully everyone knows someone.
That's very true. I actually didn't think about that. So if you've got friends or even customers, definitely ask them.
Yeah.
And just like we touched on, I think another point, people are very visual, especially customers. So when you have products with really fantastic feature images, you want to do the same for the collections too. So that's something to be mindful of. And just on the quick note of SEO and description. So again, bad example, you want something a bit more informative and descriptive. If we scroll down to the bottom of the page, Shopify has integrated SEO, which is search engine optimization. So in layman's terms, that means make it really easy for your products to be found on Google.
Yeah.
And so what you can do is extend the descriptions that show up in search results. So you can even make it custom if you like. So something a bit different to what you had up the top there. This is a secret message.
So that doesn't appear anywhere. That's purely for the search engine optimization.
So it does appear in the search engine results. So we've got a little preview here. So essentially, the page for men or men's collection, obviously that would have a nice domain here, not Christina Tower Test there. But underneath that, it will be the description that shows up in Google search results.
Yeah.
So in contrast, the one up the top, that's purely for the website. And then one for here, this is the informative message that you like to show on Google search results. Yeah.
Excellent.
Obviously, don't write secret message.
Sorry.
Obviously, don't write secret message. That's just for us.
Yeah, look, that back end of Shopify, like obviously this is the the kind of management screen of it all, and that looks really, really straightforward to work your way around. But I guess you've put a bit of work into getting it to to that point, with the products in there and whatnot, and having some of that information.
Exactly. So on the note of products, I guess SEO and descriptions, we've got a handy advice sheet about that too. So if you're a bit stuck, definitely check out our knowledge base there. That's probably the most important thing, understanding how products actually flow across. Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent.
Alrighty then. So I'll quickly zoom through a few things. So customers, quite self-explanatory. You'll also find your abandoned checkouts here too. So there's a number of things or a number of customers that you can target, even email subscribers too. So really handy feature there. So we've got marketing and discounts, but one thing I wanted to focus on is probably analytics. Again, a bit challenging because we don't have real world data here. But essentially, this will be your go-to place for reviewing your site to, get it back on track. Some people might not know where to tackle or where to take the website next. So obviously, we'd recommend, keep it nice and fresh, add blog posts and other features to your homepage there. But essentially, you do want to capture customers and products and orders in the end. So this is where you'll jump into, analyzing the sales, seeing the conversion rate as well. So understanding where customers land on the page is very helpful. I would say probably top products is the number one thing to check out here.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, just seeing where customers actually land on and the traffic source. So, is it from social media? Is it from, direct traffic, which means people heading to your website directly? There's quite a few interesting things that you can check out here.
And that's all just, a standard part of the back end of the basic package of Shopify.
Exactly. You don't need to be a marketing or business expert. You can jump in here, have a quick overview, have a breakdown, or maybe compare it to the past month or so, maybe to the past year. You're just one step away from these really beneficial business tools at the touch of your fingertips.
Yeah, excellent.
Alrighty then. So I'll kind of skip through and jump into the website side of things. So essentially, we've got a sales channel, the main one being the online store. One thing that you can actually do is integrate other sales channels in the form of, let's say, Facebook, Instagram shop, even eBay as well. So if you have a website, you can basically extend your retailer products not only to Shopify, but you're one step away from those other platforms too.
And is that a difficult thing to do? Is that, days and days of work to make those changes, or is it, is it quite simple?
It's very simple. There's just, a few things to be mindful of. So if I just quickly jump into, let's say, a sales channel here, and let's say I hit Facebook. So might do a little refresh, but essentially it's as simple as, I guess, connecting the two here. It confirms what information is sent across. So it's namely products and, data there. So if we hit update sales channel, this is a similar process to connecting Shopify apps, by the way. So it's very easy. Essentially, here's a quick start guide. All you need is a Facebook shop or Facebook account, I should say. And obviously, that's one step away from Instagram too. And all you need to do is hit start setup, go through the steps, and you're good to go.
Yeah, fantastic. That is easy.
It is easy, yeah, definitely. And with selling products on different platforms, essentially, the world is your oyster, as I like to say. So you can take it as little or as far as you like. You can have everything on these platforms or sales channels. You can have fewer things too. So this is all manageable in Shopify. It's very easy to organize there.
And you don't need to be, an absolute developer to, to do some of those changes down the track. Like that looks quite easy to navigate through.
Exactly. Yes. Yep. That's what we like to see. And it kind of goes back to why we like to use Shopify to begin with. It's, intuitive, it's easy to use, easy to digest as well. Everything's very clear. And if you ever get stuck, there's always handy links on how to learn more. So this will take you to Shopify's Help Center page. And basically they have 24/7 live chat support. So it'll be, it'll be great for Tower to have 24/7 support all the time. But the fact that you can have this service offered to you, there's all this information as well. So I feel like Shopify probably rivals our help support team in that regards.
That's good. That support is what a lot of businesses are looking for. Like, they want that assistance. So that's great that it's as easy as clicking through to get it.
Exactly. Yep. Alrighty then. So with that in mind, I've kind of given you an overview of how things come together. There's a few other features that we haven't touched on, but I'll quickly give you an overview of that, such as the settings page. So this is what we'll work through in, the consulting process, getting all your business details here. You have the opportunity to add payment methods. So a great example is your buy now, pay later sites here.
Yeah.
Basically extending how products or how customers can order online.
Are most using PayPal as a payment method, as well as standard credit card? What's the normal process for those payment methods?
Yeah, so in terms of, I guess, placing products and orders online, just think about how you would actually do that too. So as a customer, credit card is expected. And another safe option, of course, perhaps the internet standard is PayPal. So that's a way to process credit card payments through a PayPal account.
Yeah.
And you can take it, one step further, offer the buy now, pay later apps as well. It's very straightforward. You simply hit this add payment methods here, search for the relevant one. So let's say Zip. There's a little search. I think this is the only, the longest page on the website because it's validating business details here. So if it doesn't load, there'll be a bit of a funny one.
Oh, so just by searching for that, it's searching as for whether you can utilize it. Like it's kind of cross-referencing your details at the same time, is it?
Yes, yep.
Wow.
So let's pretend that worked. It did not. But essentially, yeah, very easy to add different payment providers there.
Yeah.
Okay. On the left-hand side, like I mentioned, great overview of features and options. If you had different locations, perhaps a multi-store, this is where you would activate the different locations here.
Oh, so different click and collect locations and address locations for that store.
Yep, that's correct. So first you establish it here. And then, for example, we jump into shipping and delivery. This is where all your shipping rates, let's say local pickup, local delivery, this is where it will be established here. That's pulling from your locations that you have set up. So by default, it's usually one location, but of course, if you've got different locations, of course, bring them together. This is where you can, set up different rates and shipping options.
Fantastic.
Alrighty then. So I think I'll just leave it at that for now in terms of, Shopify, how it comes together. I think we've covered most of everything, especially the features. We've got the apps, we've got discounts, we've got marketing, analytics, and of course the online store as well.
Yeah. I guess, throw a bit of a spanner in the works for you, Christina. Any other big hurdles that you find, you reach that either you have during this process or that, customers have with getting the site live? Are there any major hurdles that you tend to come across?
Yes. Well, I think it kind of falls back to the checklist. So, understanding the requirements of, what we need to get the website up and running. It's a great reference point for that reason. Simply going through the points and understanding,
So as long as we're making progress,
yes.
Keeping things off on this list, then the website's powering on ahead.
Exactly. I guess we can cover a few things. Maybe it might fall back down to the intent of the website, or not having a clear message from the start. And a website is, I guess, ever changing. So the plan you have from the start will evolve over time.
So as to whether, a business, if they decide they want the entire business online to start with, or they might change and then go, you know what, we're a garden centre and we only want our palm trees online, or we only want our, easily shipped products online, just that kind of transformation of a site as to what they want to sell on it.
Yes, exactly. So you'll probably touch on this in terms of one of our websites or retailers that we've taken online, Walk in Park. So I had a chat to Chris and he mentioned that exact thing. So they decided to do shipping interstate and then realized maybe that wasn't a great idea. So it's very simple. You're not set in stone. It's very easy to turn off or turn on features.
And you're right. Like that's the good thing about Shopify. Like it is, and also retailer kind of, obviously fits into this equation as well, but it's just so simple to make those changes. If you do want to, take a whole batch of products off the website, like you can do that directly through Stock Manager. If you want to change, certain elements of the design, it's quite easy to do within Shopify itself. So yeah, I think, the combination of retailer and Shopify just works really well for our customers having that control of how they want the website to proceed.
Yeah, definitely. And
sorry, go.
Oh yeah, no, it just falls back to that connection there. But I think, second to the checklist side of things, it's simply understanding the customer journey. So put yourself in the customer's shoes.
Yeah.
How would I find the product as a customer? How would I recommend the products in store? So if you're ever stuck about, what products can I put online? Obviously, it kind of falls back to that. What would a customer do to find your products? So using your in-store, I guess, products is a great starting point, but you have the opportunity to explore, different branding, different product ranges and niches. You can take it anywhere you like.
Yeah. Are there any websites we've done, Christina, that you think are the standouts or are really examples or success stories of what we've been able to create?
Well, I think you might cover some interesting ones at the moment. But one thing that one recent site I did want to show, let's see if I can quickly bring that up now. So just on the note of garden centres, what we can do is we've got Morgan Park. We'll touch on that very soon. But essentially garden affair. So what I like to see is an engaging, introduction to the page. The landing page sets the tone for customers and how they can find information about the business, products as well.
Really nice images too.
So this is a combination of, the client understanding, feature photos required for the homepage. If we scroll down, a bit of an, intro to the business. Here we've got the feature images for the departments here. So again, really nice, enticing, captivating imagery for what they sell essentially.
Yeah.
If we scroll down, we've got some feature ranges on nursery, outdoor plants. We've connected the Instagram account, very easy to do that. And, business information.
Yeah, look, I really like the Instagram integration, and especially the way, you hover the cursor over one of those images. And I think it can display text if there's, any other text associated with it. But they just look really clean and crisp.
So if you have images, flaunt it, especially if you have a nice Instagram account. So yeah, one step away from integrating that into your website there.
Yeah.
And then most importantly, probably the product ranges. So if we scroll up to the top here, you've got your navigation. It's very easy to digest. Each time you hover over.
That's from retailer, isn't it?
Yes, exactly. And one thing for this particular website too, is we've actually automated all these sublinks underneath, which is, even it gives you more peace of mind that you don't need to manage, so much more within a website platform. Even though Shopify is really easy to manage your navigation, we've taken it one step further and it's automated for you. So every feature is a bit different. So depending on your product setup, we'll likely set this up for your website too.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess just back to that development process, if we do build this site for someone, you go through the training with them and it's all set up, it's a really thorough handover process when we are at that point where we're ready to say, hey, we've created your website, here's the completed product. Tell me a bit about the process you go through, to actually pass that website across.
Yep. So we've actually touched a bit of it in terms of going through Shopify backend.
Yep.
We explain, I guess, a bit more in depth on what particular pages do. We'll help you, get the business settings set up, the shipping and delivery side of things. Any, let's say, sales channels, we can help you out with that one as well.
And is there any documentation that comes along with that?
Yeah, so we've got the Shopify handover document that will cover, a breakdown of products, descriptions, what you should be putting into your website there. It's a great reference point, and it's basically a complement to what Shopify offers as well in terms of their help center. So it's a bit more tower specific, but it's essentially it's a great way that you can reference what you should be achieving online. Any of the Shopify backend questions that you might have, you can find it there.
Fantastic. All right. Well, look, if you just want to stop sharing your screen there, Christina.
Sounds good. Yes.
Look, we have got an absolute heap more websites. I've got, some references I can really easily send through to people. I was going to run through them today, but I think we've kind of covered off on just about everything we need to. So what we might do is wrap it up there. If people are interested in, knowing what we can do from a web development point of view, or if they want to know how retailer works with it, if you're an existing customer or a potential new one, by all means, reach out to us. Either send us an email to sales@towersystems.com.au, or you can call us on the 1300 number, which is 1300 662 957. Like I said, I'm Tim. Christina, it's been fantastic. Thanks for sharing all of that information with us.
Yep, it's been great. Lovely chatting.
Excellent. No worries. So yeah, feel free to reach out and we'd be happy to help. Thank you.